Hello, welcome to our English Language Fellow Application webinar. I'm Laura.
And I'm Robert.
And we're part of the Applications and Vetting team. We also happen to be former fellows ourselves. I was a fellow in India.
And I was a fellow in Rwanda.
Here we are in a recent photo with the outgoing 2018-2019 fellows during the pre-departure orientation in Washington, D.C. in August. In the next 7 minutes or so, we'll offer our favorite tips for completing the application. Let's begin. Robert, let's imagine I'm an applicant. Can you tell me a little bit about the application?
Of course. First of all, the application officially opens on Saturday, September 1st. Keep in mind that completing the application is a long process. You'll be asked for details about your educational background and professional experience, as well as a statement of purpose, answers to short essay questions, and other related information. We recommend first reviewing the application instructions on our website at elprograms.org and then slowly completing the application itself. Remember, you don't have to do it all in one sitting. You can work on certain sections, then save and return at a later date. Most of the application will be self-explanatory, but if you do have questions, you can always email the program at fellow@elprograms.org.
Okay, so it opens on September 1st. But when's the last day to submit an application?
The application usually doesn't close until June, and the last of the projects is typically matched. But do note that we have a November 30th priority deadline. Applications submitted by November 30th have the best chance of being considered for all available projects when the matching phase starts in January.
Is there anything I need to prepare before starting the application?
You should probably start by getting out your resume or CV and making sure the information is completely up to date. Your resume should include your current position, and submitting a resume that hasn't been updated may delay the review of your application.
Besides my resume, are there any other documents I'll need?
As a matter of fact, yes. You'll need your graduate level transcript, either official or unofficial. Make sure that the words awarded or conferred appear on your transcript, along with the date. Oddly, this information is sometimes missing from unofficial transcripts, so be sure to check. There are more details about degree and transcript requirements on our website, elprograms.org. Also really important are your references. You want to choose people who know your work and who will be enthusiastic about your application for the program. Also be sure to contact your references beforehand to ensure they're willing and available to help in this way. And double check that you have their current email addresses. These details are especially important because the review of your application will begin only when your 2 required references have been received.
Now that I have my documents and references all lined up, what advice can you give me about completing various sections of the application?
The regional preferences section is a good place to start. The application lists 11 regions around the world, and you can choose prefer, open to, or not interested for each region. If you choose not interested to any region, that won't be counted against you, but the more open you are to possible locations, the higher your chances are of being matched.
Are there any locations that I could mark as a preference that would increase my chances of being matched?
We're always looking for people who are enthusiastic about being matched to countries in Central Asia and Africa.
I noticed that the professional capabilities area is rather long. Any tips for filling this in?
This is a really important section. We often go directly here to find people with specific backgrounds. This is your chance to add details of your professional work that may not be on your resume, the types of classes you've taught, specific areas of expertise, and unique accomplishments. Pay special attention to the teacher training category. While teacher training experience isn't an eligibility requirement, it is one of the program's preferred qualifications. Almost all projects have some teacher training element to them, from teaching undergraduate methodology classes to presenting workshops at conferences.
When you say teacher training, what does that include?
This refers to both formal and non-formal contexts, such as part of an MA program, a certification program, Peace Corps work, working with a student teacher, mentoring, or conducting informal workshops at your school. Teacher training experience comes in a variety of forms. All have relevance and are important to your application. Also, be sure to check yes if you have experience in either ESP or EAP. With ESP, or English for Specific Purposes, make sure you specify the topic area, such as journalism, tourism, engineering, or business, to name a few. We always have a few projects that focus on EAP, English for Academic Purposes. And if you have experience with research writing, writing for publication, or writing centers, you should definitely fill in this section.
What if my experience is primarily K through 12?
Many fellow projects involve working with K-12 teachers, both pre and in service, and your K-12 experience may make you a good match. We've also seen an increase in projects involving STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math, both at the K-12 and the higher education level. So don't forget to mention if you have experience in STEM.
What if I have other experience that's not listed in professional capabilities?
There's an other category, and you can add additional information there. You might want to use this section to talk about serving on your ESL department's curriculum development committee, completing a needs assessment project, or leading extracurricular activities.
Now, I've submitted my application. What's the next step?
If you meet all the eligibility requirements and all the sections of your application are complete, you'll be invited for an interview by Skype or phone. Keep in mind that the interviewer has already read your application carefully, so during the interview, you want to go into greater detail and supply new examples. This is a chance to really sell yourself, focusing on your unique achievements.
Robert, if you had just one last tip for our viewers, what would it be?
I think this one is really important. Use every one of the 500 words allowed for your statement of purpose. As reviewers, we read these carefully, and so do the embassies that make the selection decisions. How about you, Laura? What one tip would you like to finish with?
It may sound trivial, but proofread.
I think that's a great one to finish with. Well, we hope that you found this webinar to be helpful. Being an English language fellow is a richly rewarding experience, and all the time you spend on your application will be worth it if you're selected. Good luck.
And remember, you can always email the program staff at fellow@elprograms.org.